Hey everyone, guys, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just let me know in the comments that yes, you can hear me. Awesome. I think we have a couple of persons here already. Guys, if you can hear me clearly, just type in the comments that yes, you can hear me. Um, guys, if you can hear me, if you're live here, just type in the comment that yes, you can hear me. We're gonna kick off any moment from now. All right, that's great. That's great. I can see a couple of comments. I can see a couple of comments. Right, I can see a couple of comments. Let me just put it on the group. Let me just put that in here on the group. Awesome, awesome. So I can see a couple of persons have joined us, and it's great having you all here. Right, and today we're going to be having an awesome session. Right, our host is already in the backstage. He's already here to listen to what we have to for. He's already here to share his own experience working as a developer. Right, one of the things we told you guys inside this program is that we wanted to also bring seasoned experts that currently work for foreign clients to come on board to share their own experience, right? And that will basically aid you in your own journey to working with foreign clients, right? Some of you here, you guys are already developers. Some of you here, you're not essentially developers, but you could be maybe into UI UX. You could be into graphics design. When I mean graphics design, I don't mean those small graphics design. I mean like some serious graphics level, right? Some of you are video editors. These some of the lessons he is going to share will also apply to you, right? Because one thing about several industries is that they are not just looking for, even the tech industry is not just looking for developers, right? So if you're working on a tech project, there are going to be UI and UX persons. There are going to be people that will handle graphics design. There are going to be people that will handle, even video editing and all that. So some of the lessons he is going to share on how he was able to land this foreign client will also apply to many of you here. Right. So, guys, if you're excited for what we have to share this evening, just type in the comments that I'm excited. I'm excited. If you're excited for what we have to share this evening, just type in the comments. Say, I'm excited. I'm excited. Just type that in the comments. And we're going to start any minute from now. It's awesome having you guys here. And I'm going to introduce the host, right? I'm going to introduce the host very quickly. And before I introduce the host, right? There's even something really shocking that I personally have not told you guys, right? So I'm going to read his bio very soon, but let me tell you something I've not told you guys before, right? So Justice, I, and even our host today, Nnadi Wisdom, right? We all attended the University of Benin, right? And we are all engineering students, funny enough, right? We are all engineering students, came from the same faculty. I think even Wisdom here and Justice, right? They were in the same level, but they were just in different departments. Justice was in my own department, chemical engineering, and then Wisdom was in a different department, right? So we are all engineering students, and to some extent, we came from the same grassroots. And you know, it just shows how life can be. You could meet somebody somewhere, and tomorrow, 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, you guys are doing big things together. All right, and also we've also shared his bio in the platform, right? Wisdom, from the time I knew him, I think the first time I got to know Wisdom is more than 8 years ago. right? From the time I knew him, he has always been very, very serious as a developer. He has always taken his stuff very, very, very seriously, right? He was always into game development. Even back then when we were students, he was always designing different little games, sharing it with us. And we're just thinking, it's just this fun stuff he's doing. He's just designing game and stuff. And today, those little things that he was doing is now actually a big thing. He has started working with big companies and work on large scale foreign projects. And he's one of the best in the games. He's one of the best in the games. Right. So Wisdom, you are so welcome. You're so welcome to the session this evening. It's a great privilege having you here. So let me bring you on board. As you can see in the comments, the people are excited they're excited to have you here. You're welcome, and it's great having you on board right here.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today to, share my experience with everyone. And like our host has just said, we go way back. We are all from the same roots. We're all engineering students from the University of Benin. And, it's actually very shocking how or where life can take you in just a matter of years. Um, so we move forward and we keep moving forward. So the goal of first of all, can I confirm if everyone can hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you very clearly. So
Can
I think
everyone hear me? Let me just indicate in the chat. Let me see.
the only barrier
Okay.
is the video. It's not showing properly, but it's fine. We could just talk with the audio in the
Okay.
in the
I
this.
hope everyone can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
we
a
could.
quick yeah.
Yeah, I say we could hear you clearly. You can
All
proceed.
right.
Thank
So yeah, a quick introduction. Yeah, I am a game developer by profession. That's what I do for a living, full time. And straight to the point, how I got into game development. It actually started off as a passion. So I started making games because of the very reason of just wanting to make games. I never had an idea that somebody would pay me money to build games. So I wanted to build my own games, and I got all excited and curious about the process of making games. And okay, the chat is just updating on my end. And from there I straight up went into a lot of tutorials. Starting for me, YouTube was a very big or a huge part of my learning process. uh, in today's world, whenever somebody wants to get into tech newly, they begin to look for courses, maybe paid courses, or some source or tutor online to you know mentor them or tutor them. And the truth is, most of the time, all you need is on YouTube. You really don't even need to spend $1 on any tutorial out there most of the time. So that was the my story. For most, I understand that for some people they need somebody to hold their hand. Some things might be very, very difficult to grasp, and you need somebody to ask a question directly. But for me, it was just easy for me to follow through on some tutorials on YouTube, at least to get the basic knowledge down on what I was supposed to do. And another neat detail is that I started making games even before I got into the university. So it was something I was already doing even before I became a student of engineering at Uniben. And because of how passionate I was about it, as you heard the host said, when we were in school, then I was really all about my development work. So because of I was so passionate about it, during my IT, I discovered that this is the line I actually want to follow, and I followed through and through. So getting into how I began to actually take my job professionally, it all started during the pandemic. Obviously everybody was at home, and you needed to be busy one way or the other. And then it occurred to me, or it became clear to me, that while I was in school, trying to juggle, schoolwork and, do your development, stuff, you don't really get to utilize the full potential of the attention you can give your project or your career. So I had all the time in the world to actually uh, double down on making game development a focus. One advice I would give, going into tech, uh, pretty much any even career endeavor, is specialization. Try not to be a jack of all trades. Try to learn one thing and learn it well, because once you do that and you focus on it without any distractions, you are actually going to, make headway, and you'll be surprised how you do it. For me, while I was in school, I was taking basically other dev works, basically for cheap money. Anybody that wants to build a website or graphics design or any of those. So I would take a bunch of those, just because I was trying to, earn one or two. But when I actually decided to take game development only, it seemed like something that, because there was pretty much no demand for game development out there, and I had zero knowledge on how to even uh, land one person as a client. But I just took it that, you know what, if I'm going to do anything professionally, it has to be game development. No distractions, no. Because one thing about taking over, any job that comes your way, is that you spend time, and you might not really understand how much, one day is when it comes to time currency. But that one day, 2 days you spend doing something else other than what you are supposed to be doing, it adds up over time. And before you know it, you're off track. So you need to specialize. Is a very key thing to do. So during the pandemic, one of the first thing I did was to work on my portfolio. So the first thing you are supposed to do when you are taking trying to when you are trying to get into any tech role is to have a portfolio. What it's going to do for you is to prove to the world that you actually know what you are doing, and if they commit a project into your hands, you're not just going to mess it up. And for me, the the mentality I had of building a portfolio then wasn't just to have a portfolio. It was to have something I was proud of. So I wanted to build a game for myself that I would enjoy, and that would be my own portfolio. So I ended up working on a multiplayer game, a multiplayer system, and that was around the period when, I got my first client. Now, another way you can actually get attention is to put your portfolio in a place where people can see it even without much effort. Now, there are platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, all these websites where you can pretty much put up your service for sale. But your chances of getting hired are very, very low. But if you put yourself in a position where you are the one being noticed, not the other way around, you have a higher chance of attracting a client. For example, if you have a LinkedIn page and you are working on a portfolio, you should be posting on that LinkedIn page regularly, consistently, not necessarily posting because of you are looking for a job, but see it as posting, you know, for the sheer fact that you are proud of what you are doing. For example, if I'm posting about, maybe a game I'm making, I'm working on a game development portfolio. The thing I would do is to set a project for myself. Oh, I'm going to build for myself a third-person shooter. What's the concept? The concept is, it's set in a futuristic setting. The hero is trying to save somebody from somewhere. Blah 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 blah. And I begin to work on it. Then I post each step daily, and I post my progress daily talking extensively on what I'm doing, on what I'm doing and the progress I'm making. Believe you me, if you do that consistently for a while, you will begin to get noticed. There is no way you won't get noticed. And it's better to get noticed than being the one to, do the asking. Because once you are noticed, they come to you and it's up to you to either accept or ignore uh, the offers. So LinkedIn is a very good place to start. Twitter is also a very good place to start. To, pretty much put your work out there and show the world that you really know what you're doing. For me, I was in a game development community, like a group. So another thing that is very, very important is to be connected. Have Be around people that do the same thing like you. Be in a community of people that do the same thing as you, so that whenever a news comes in about maybe a role or something that is going to be relevant to you, you can get that news on time and you can act. So I was in a game development group where, it was posted that um, I think somebody needed a game developer for a multiplayer project. And pretty much it was pretty much what I was working on at the time. So I was able to just apply. It wasn't even a physical application, and it was the first time I earned, real money for my game development, 500K. I will never forget. So, and I went for the interview. uh they pretty much they were surprised that, it was a young guy, hardly even qualified, to do any professional interview. But just because of I have a portfolio that pretty much shows every single mechanic that they would need, they were like, why not? He's young, but we can commit this project into his hands. And once you do that, you land your first project, you complete it. It reinforces your CV and your portfolio, because now you have an experience under your belt and you can, continue to build on from there. Pretty much, most of my, by the way, I've worked with three foreign companies. uh, two, two are Nigerian owned, based abroad, and the last one is a Turkish company. And all of them I got by referrals. And one of the best ways to get referrals, like I said, is to be connected, be in groups, also attend conventions, and pretty much talk to people. Don't be shy to put yourself out there. If you go out, tell people what you do, show your work, show yourself, be proud of yourself, talk about yourself. Don't hide in a shell, because that's one of the best ways that, because for example, I got a job from somebody who saw what I was doing while I was in school. So that was my, it wasn't really a professional gig, but that was like the first time I got, a gig based on recommendation. So I was in 100 level that time, and somebody in final year saw that I could make games. And, like roughly 6 months later, he referred me to one guy who just needed to do something quickly. And I made a quick buck out of that referral. And I still have his contact till today. And during my IT, because when I did my IT, I had to switch companies. So that particular transition I did was still that same referral I got previously that came in handy again. So power of connection can never be unmatched, and it will always come through, when code application doesn't. So that's how, as a developer or as somebody that is trying to delve into technology, uh some things you should have in mind is do what you are doing for the purpose of bettering yourself. You want to be the best at what you do. You want to be awesome. You want to be that guy, and show yourself, put yourself out there, blog about what you do, tweet about what you do, have a YouTube channel if possible. In this day and age, social media attention is one of the hottest ways to monetize yourself. So if you can have some sort of attention on yourself, it will really, really go a long way. And finally, try and be connected, attend conventions, meet people, have people's contacts, so that, whenever something comes their way, you are the first person on their mind. And that's one of the surest ways you can actually, land a job. and you wouldn't have to go through the stress of trying to apply, fight for application with 1,000 other people. Yeah, thank you very much. If there's any questions, I would like to answer them.
Wow, that was literally amazing. Thank you so much for just basically sharing your story. And I don't know, guys, if you could listen to what he was saying, you could see how authentic everything sounded like. He's not trying to just bring one information he got from YouTube or anything. He's talking about his own personal story, right, as a developer, right? So I would like to ask you a few questions, right? So the first question I'd like to ask is, what were some of the major challenges you faced, on your way to becoming, where you are right now? What are some major challenges you faced, and what advice do you have for people that are currently trying to go through that path so that they could, deal with those challenges easier?
All right, so one major challenge I faced was um, finance. So, what you make while you work, the value for your time. So, I went through a very, funny stage of trying to understand where I am in the market and how much I'm supposed to charge, based on everything. And it was very, very rough because I went through a while of being underpaid. So I understand, like, what it means to be a tech guy that was used, you get. So it was a very big challenge for me. And the way I overcome that challenge was, first of all, widening my scope by connection. So I had a quick contract with LBS, Lagos Business School, as a virtual reality developer for 6 months. That was where I actually did my IT at first before I had to switch to another company. And it was the same reason I had to switch. During my IT, I was being paid 40K for an intern, and I was transporting myself a very long distance to Lagos Business School. So I was basically being paid transportation to come to work. So it was so stressful. I had to change it because it wasn't paying me at all, first of all. And it was just all round stress on my body physically. So I had to change. And when I changed, I discovered that I could do less work and get paid more, actually. So from there, the possibilities was already in my mind that, okay, you can be priced at a certain range, but there's always a potential for more. I had a second stint with Lagos Business School again, but this time it wasn't internship, it was an actual contract. The contract lasted 6 months. I was paid slightly better, but still not much. After the 6 months, elapsed, due to connection again, the same dev community, I got another gig. And this time, I got to work with somebody who was affiliated with a US based company. So, a Nigerian who is affiliated with a US based company. And that was one of the first times I got to realize that you could earn way more than what working with Nigerian clients, basically. So, from there, the idea of what I should be earning increased, and all I had to do was just ask for more and be non-repentant about it. Some people are usually scared to build their clients. Like, for example, a client comes to you and you are scared of telling him, oh, the job is going to cost you $7,000, because you feel like, "Ah, if I bill him, he will run away." But no, just do it. If he does not agree, you leave it. Wait for the next one to come, because it's never worth it to do a job that is less than what it's worth. You end up regretting it, no matter how you know so that was one challenge that I had earlier that, over time I found a way to overcome.
That's literally awesome. That's awesome. So, guys, if you were not getting what he was saying, maybe you were not listening properly or anything like that. The essence is you should know your worth and be able to charge your worth, right? And I understand that some of you've been working with Nigerian clients most of your life, right? So, let's say you get a chance to work with a foreign client and you're used to earning maybe 100K, 200K from Nigerian clients, and then you know that this project that you're about to do for this foreign client is worth like $5,000 or is worth like $1,000 or $3,000. But because of that mentality of always charging 100K, 200K working for Nigerian clients, you will now be afraid to actually charge the real value of the service that you intend to provide. And most of the time, one thing I notice is that if you charge an amount that you are not very, very comfortable with, right, you know in your heart that you should be charging more than this amount of money, right? When you're working for that client, it's going to show in a way, one way or the other. If you charge an amount that you are very, very comfortable with, that you are very happy with, right? Even if maybe you need to do a little extra work for the client, you need to do some extra service, you'll be happy to do it because yes, you really charge this person what you wanted to charge. But then, you know, when you're charging this very, very small amount of money just because you want to land the client, then it even affects your service. All right. And another thing I also took from what you said is that as freelancers, although everyone here, we told you guys about the backdoor penetration strategy of landing freelancers, sending cold DMs, getting responses, and all that, right? Wisdom really pushed a point that was very, very important, right? And he said it's very important to put yourself out there. Many of you as freelancers, right, you always just want this low-key money. Oh, you're just making money, nobody just knows you and all that, but the world is changing, and you really need to ask yourself this question: do you want to be low-key or do you want to make money? You understand? You need to ask yourself this question. And there's one thing I always tell myself. I always tell myself that, see, whatever it takes for me to get this result, I'm going to do it. If I need to start putting myself out there more often than even what I'm comfortable with, I'll do it. Right. So that's another lesson that I also pick from what you have shared. So guys, if you have any questions for Wisdom, right, especially for those of you that are in tech, you have any questions, right? Just share in the comment section and I'll highlight it so that you can answer it. Right. So while we're waiting for people to share some questions, I still have another question to ask you, Wisdom. Right. So what would you think is the major difference between working on a Nigerian project and working on a foreign project? And do you really think most freelancers over here we are capable of delivering for foreign projects, right? So just let me know what you think about that.
All right. So, as somebody that has worked very well with Nigerian and foreign clients, I can tell you that there's a very huge difference. And Nigerian clients are like, I'll just put them in two categories. And there are the white collar ones, and there are the freestyle ones. You understand? So the white collar ones are basically the ones that have taken the time to set up an office space and everything, and they are pretty much registered. They have almost everything organized. They are very, very organized. Now these ones, they have everything already figured out. All you have to do is just come and do what you are told, and they will pay you the least most of the time. You get. Then uh one thing about this type of establishment is that if you just come in there, do as you are told, deliver on your daily task as fast as you can, you would you most likely enjoy most of it. I mean, I've seen cases in fintech also. You can spend maybe a year or two or three with them and you'll be fine, but you'll be massively underpaid. That's just the truth. Then the ones that freestyle is higher risk. They will stress you a lot more. You might be paid slightly better, but there's even a high chance the company might not exist in the next 6 months or or 1 year. Yeah, but it's slightly better, and they will stress you a lot. They will stress you a lot. Most of the time, these guys, their vision for the company is usually very unrealistic. Most of the time, so you are trying to meet up with unrealistic expectations, and you guys are quickly burning through your tiny budget, and before you know it, you're out of that job. Then working with foreign clients, most of as I've seen, is way more stable. Is way more like is like it's way more tangible. Even if it's for something of 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, you will know that, oh, you've passed through, you've done a legit work for yourself. You understand? It's going to tell in your progress, in your own personal progress, because there's usually a very clear goal of where they are going, and the very, minimal expectation. And most times, even if expectations are not met, some foreign clients have enough vision to understand where the problem came from. So most times it's not the developer's fault. Sometimes it's the marketer's fault. Sometimes it's how things were organized, from the administrative perspective. Foreign clients can easily differentiate when it's the dev that is the issue and when it's another thing that is the issue. And foreign clients can commit to you way better than Nigerian clients can commit to you. So if you know your stuff, if you know what you are doing, if you are good, a foreign client will always commit to you very, very well. And they pay well, they pay like the best out of every other, because even though they might not be paying you how they pay somebody back in their country, but it's good enough. It's way good for us here. So that's just the difference for me. Foreign clients are way easier and straightforward to work with than Nigerian clients.
That's awesome. I love the way you answered that question. There was something that really even shocked me, right? When you said that those organizations that are very structured, yeah, even the ones like they're going to pay you very, very, very little, right?
They
And
pay the least.
yeah, and I've had my experience with that. Ever since I started, I became good with my skill and started working for clients. I've never really worked so much in the corporate space. I've had one or two experiences in the corporate space, right? But I never really liked it, and for some reasons, I just avoided the corporate space. But you know, I still wanted to some extent work for the corporate space, even though I didn't have very good experiences with the few clients that I work with in the corporate space. But I still wanted to work with it because of the structure. For example, some of these corporate companies, they are bringing you on board. They will send you so many documents to sign. All this kind of stuff. So I like that structure. To me, it makes me feel like yes, I'm working on one. But they like they are just bringing me on so many meetings that I'm not even supposed to. They're always bringing me on so many meetings that I'm not supposed to be on, right? And most of the time that I work for Nigeria clients, it was usually freestyle because these people they just want results. They don't really care, about bringing you on so many meetings like that. They just wanted results. And when I started working for foreign clients, then I literally just stopped working for Nigerian clients. Right. And so, guys, I hope you guys are learning so much. I hope you guys are learning so much. Right. I can see one question in the comment. What is the best social media you think you will see clients, and how do we put ourselves out there? So someone is asking like, what is the best? I think you already mentioned that, but let me just repeat that question. Right, somebody is asking, what is the best social media you recommend, right, to put yourself out there in terms of getting having a high chance of landing a foreign client, and how do you advise people to put themselves out there?
Okay, so first of all, right off the bat, like I said before, Twitter, LinkedIn, both of them are your friends. But we can take that a step further, depending on how creative you are. So if you can somehow channel your inner creativity, you can make use of YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Instagram is kind of a very middle line between, the more word-based social media like LinkedIn and Twitter, and the more graphic social medias like TikTok and YouTube. Instagram is very much in between. So if you are very creative and you know how to make your profession look fun and you can turn it to content, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram are your friends. You will gain fans, and one of the best. That's the best place you want to be. Most times, it's not even all about clients. If you have fans as a person, is one of the best places to be, because you can sell directly to them, no matter what your product is. You understand? You can sell directly to your fans. So TikTok, YouTube, if you can turn your profession into a content anyhow you can. But if you just, if your profession is the type where you can't really turn into content or you're not creative enough, you can just post progress on what you are doing, and you can talk about what you are doing, the technicalities, what the problems you solve, you know, in each thing you encounter, and post them on places like Twitter and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good place to start from, because on LinkedIn it's easy to get people like you to follow you and see what you are doing and repost your work. They on LinkedIn they care about your work more, because LinkedIn is more work focused. You get, like LinkedIn is like one of the places um I have the highest followership, active followership, because LinkedIn is just a place that is more professional minded. But on other social media that have more distractions, it's harder to get people to just like your content. You have to be a little bit more out there with how you present your content, to get. But LinkedIn is a very good place to start, and LinkedIn is also a very good place to attract the eyes of people to what you are doing, and that's just what it is. If you are creative enough, start a TikTok channel. If I, like for me as a game developer, I can create some fun content on game development, post it on YouTube or TikTok. People will like it, and then things like that are already happening. Even on Twitter too. There are two Nigerian game developers I'm following on Twitter, and they are doing so well. And how they are able to amass the large following they have on Twitter is simply by being creative with their posts. One of them is a meme guy, so he posts a lot of game development memes, and the other person is a content guy. He knows how to make the game development process engaging. So that's just one thing to do, when you're trying to, and those are the social medias you can use to put yourself out there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think there was a similar question. Somebody is saying, "Hey, my name is Divine. I'm a character design, and as a game developer, what are ideal community/spaces that I can find clients in the same game dev space?" I think that's what you just also gave the answer to. Twitter, LinkedIn. Then, if you are very, very creative, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram can also work as well,
Yeah,
right?
and as a character designer, artist station too is good to have a portfolio. So I'm sure you know about artist station already. So you can post your character designs there. You can see what top-notch character designers are doing, and you should try and put your work very close to that level. You understand? Then you'll be fine.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm seeing somebody say, I'm seeing somebody saying, "Do you work with designers like UI, UX?" I don't really get that question, but I don't know.
I,
What do
I
you
do
think?
understand. So in game development, UI UX plays a very huge role. Uh, UI UX goes a long way to anything you use on a device. So we do work with UI UX designers, and they actually make a ton of cash also, just almost as much as the game developer does. There are some designers that will bill $30,000 for a work. Understand? And it's just one that's it's even contracts. It's not even you know. So yeah, we do work with designers.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think we've answered most of the questions that came in today. And once again, thanks so much for coming on board and honoring this invitation of ours. Right. So, guys, I hope you've learned so much. I hope you've learned so much about the journey to basically getting foreign clients as a person looking to go deeper into tech, right? Putting yourself out there. And one thing that most of you don't understand, right? Especially those of you that are sending cold DMs to clients and all that. Yes, that's a very, very effective strategy. And one thing that will also help you is that when you put yourself out there, it also helps your code DMs, right? For example, if you send for example, one of the reasons why I don't teach people, I don't like talking about my examples using code DMs. It's because sometimes my examples, my own experience can be very, very different from people that are beginners, right? For example, on Twitter, I have about 14.5 thousand followers, right? I post a lot, right? And you know, when I send a code DM to a client, when I send a code DM to a client, it's usually easier for them to reply me or respond to me, because these people, they go, for example, when I was working in the betting industry, right, I sent a code DM to about, I think, 20 betting influencers. These guys were the top betting influencers, right, in the industry. I got about like 7 replies, right, and I landed like 3 7-figure deals. I don't like pitching those experiences to beginners, because if you go and pitch to the same 20 people, you will not get 7 replies. Why did I get so much replies? Because I had a large credibility on my social media, right? And so in your journey to also landing a lot of these foreign clients, if you have credibility in your social media, all right, if you always put yourself out there, it also helps. There are a few clients that I got their attention. How did I get their attention? I drop a comment on their post. I drop a comment on their post, and then I told my own network that, hey guys, go and like this comment and go and drop a reply in this comment and stuff like that. And I was able to get the attention of the person, because this person literally gets like hundreds of comments in their post. But because imagine somebody make a post and the post has like 300 likes, and then me, I make a comment on that post, and that comment has like 50 likes and has like 15 replies under my own comment, is naturally going to see my own is going to come to the top, right? And it's going to see my own. And I've gotten a few of these persons actually now send me a DM because of the comment that they saw. I could now be like, my comment could just be as simple as, oh wow, I love what you're doing, right? I actually run a marketing agency and we can help you scale this further. Let me know if you're interested in discussing more about this. That could just be my comment. But because I have a network, because I have followers, I have people that follow me and learning from me, I'll tell these people, guys, I've made a comment here. Go and like this comment. Go and drop something on the comment, and they'll go and do that, right? And the person will, I'll get the attention of the person, and the person will actually DM me. I mean, these are top people. There was a time I was even trying to get the attention of a billionaire, and he actually replied me and sent me a DM, right? So these things work when you put yourself out there, and then you now still proceed to send cold DMs from a social media platform. It also aids you, and I think that's one thing that Wisdom has also shared here. Like, you need to put yourself out there, right? This is 2025. This is the year to lock in, and you need to remove that mindset of just low key, low key, low key. I just want to be low key, and stuff like that. Put yourself out there. We're in the era of social media, and to really, really help you, right? So thank you so much, Wisdom, for coming on board. Uh, it's great having you here. So I think we've answered most of the questions in the comment, and if there are any other questions, probably I'll personally pass it across to you. Right. So, guys, just drop some thank you in the comment section. Wisdom took out a couple of his time to like come here and share with us so much value. Right. So just drop thank you in the comment section. Just drop thank you. We really appreciate you coming on board. Right. And we're going to end the session very, very soon. Right. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
if any one of them is interested, because I saw someone ask, if they could connect with me on LinkedIn. So you can search me on LinkedIn, at Nnadi Wisdom. You will see my profile as a virtual reality developer. And also, you can add me on other social media like Twitter and Instagram at Techion Studios. So I don't know how the link would be in the chat. Um, so yeah, and Techion Studios on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, I would be happy to connect with all of you.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, please go and give him a follow on his various social media platforms. Right, is Nnadi Wisdom on LinkedIn. Then on Twitter and Instagram is Techion Studios on Twitter and Instagram. Go there, give him a
T
follow, engage with
T
his
E
content.
R T E R, not TEL.
Let me correct this real quick.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, guys, go on those social media platforms, go and give him a follow, go and engage with his content and all that. He has also shared something with you, and it's also important that you go to his own platform, and also, you could even learn more or see more of what he's into and probably learn from it also. Right. So, guys, we are going to see you some other time. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening. Thanks for coming on board, Wisdom. And guys, just make sure you take action on what you've learned. Right. So guys, follow him really quickly. Follow him really quickly. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and we're done with the session this evening. All right. So
Thank you very much.
I'm ending the session right now.